Hello and welcome to my Tarot Corner. So you cannot completely ignore the elephant in the room, and that is the increasing rumors about the Sussexes being separated. Now there are conflicting information. There is conflicting information about it. There were Markle News on Instagram posted quite a few posts regarding the separation. Lady C did a video in which she claimed that they are already separated. It is very curious that Meghan never names Harry in her podcast. She always calls him her husband and uses all sorts of cringe ways, or like, my husband, he's great, things like that. And but then then came out a blind item that said that unless they're using lawyers outside of Southern California, they are not separated. So that's probably someone who has connections in the law area and knows lawyers enough to know that none of the lawyers in Southern California was hired, but by either of the Sussexes. But there are a lot of questions regarding this. Meghan, for example, she doesn't know the actual age of her children. Harry said that Lilibet started walking at 10 months. Meghan says that Lilibet just started walking and she's a year and a couple of months. And this, I have to say, people come out and say, no, she's 17 months old. How can you just say that she's a year and a couple of months? Well, I don't know when this podcast was recorded. Maybe she was a year and a couple of months then. She was born in June. This podcast could have been recorded on August, so maybe she was only a year and a couple of months then, but there is a big difference then from starting to walk in 10 months than starting to walk in a year and two. So, but I'm not getting into the children right now. I'm just using this to explain that when a couple is separated and someone is with the children and the other is not, if they exist, then the person that is not with his children probably doesn't know milestones that the child gone through, or it's not very much in their mind. I don't know how to say that exactly, but it's not etched on their minds, because me as a mother, naturally I knew exactly when my children said the first word and what first word was it and when they took their first step. Okay, so I'm using a mini deck. It's called the Tarot Cats of Ana Juan. And I'm using that because I am doing a 9-card spread, which I need more space for that. And first I'm going to say my disclaimer. This is a tarot reading. It is vibrational. It is open to interpretation. It exists as assumptions and speculation, and as such may or may not be true. So please do your own research and decide for yourselves. Okay, so as I said, 9-card spread that will show us their relationship as it is today. And I do remind you that in my previous reading about the relationship, I did see that they are on their way to separate. Okay, so let's start by clearing the deck. Okay. So Harry and Meghan relationship as it is now. How does Harry feel? How does Meghan feel? What are their needs? What is the current state of their relationship? Where does each of them want the relationship to go, and what can we see around the outcome? Harry and Meghan relationship as it is right now for each and every one of them. Okay, sorry, the cards are quite slippery, so it's hard for me to shuffle. And cutting the deck, the first card is Harry's view of Meghan. And we get the King of Pentacles. Okay, so the King of Pentacles, that's the archetype of how Harry sees Meghan. So we know that Meghan really wants to be this general manager. She's the one who's calling the shots. She needs an independent career. She wants money. She's thinking about business, and she's neglecting the family. And this is how Harry sees them. And as someone wrote, I think it was in one of those teas that I think that I posted, but if not, I will. That Harry said that he's driving Meghan to Los Angeles and goes right back to home to be with the children. He doesn't like the children to be alone, so he's more concentrated about the children, about the house. She's not. She's a workaholic, and we know that she's the one who messages people in 5 o'clock in the morning. She's a workaholic. She only thinks about herself, about her career, about being independent, and this is more about someone who is stubborn and someone who does not care about the family. And once again, this is how Harry sees Meghan. Now, how does Meghan see Harry? And what I'm getting here is the High Priestess. The High Priestess, this is really very curious, because the High Priestess is more of a Meghan card. Someone who is mysterious, someone who keeps secrets, but the High Priestess as an archetype has more than that. This is a person who needs mental health therapy. Meghan sees Harry as someone who is mentally unhealthy, someone who is afraid of life, afraid of change, keeps secrets, and someone who is, this is even someone who wants to be a coacher, like Harry says that he wants to be a coacher, he wants to learn to be a coacher. So this card is very much like someone who wants to learn psychology or be a psychologist, but it's more someone who is doing that out of his own mental instability. So this is a card of someone who is also having animosity with his mother-in-law or father-in-law. This is a person that has a problem with his in-laws. So this could be Thomas Markle. This could even signify that Harry has problems with Doria. So once again, these cards are not yet badly aspected, so I'm not saying the bad aspects of these cards, but just from the positive point of view, this is how Meghan sees Harry. She doesn't see him as someone who is able to do things. She sees him as someone who is very disturbed mentally. Okay, what are Harry's needs? And Harry's needs are the Queen of Cups. So first of all, Harry needs a wife that will care, someone who cares about him. Queen of Cups, that is the queen that is adventurous, someone who can withstand changes, but also someone who has a lot of feelings, she's very emotional. And Harry needs that. He needs someone who will care about him, about the family, someone who is able to withstand all of the changes that occurred with them, but especially he needs someone who is not not the Queen of Wands like we know Meghan is usually, but he doesn't even want someone who is the King of Pentacles, who is only caring about money. He needs someone who really cares about him. This is about emotions, so he really needs that. This is something that he wants and needs. What does Meghan need? Let's see, what does Meghan need? And let me just take that away. And Meghan needs the Page of Wands. Now, the Page of Wands is a card that I keep telling you. It's the card that signifies the Sussexes as a whole. This is the eternal student. This is someone who is jumping from one bandwagon to another bandwagon. Someone who keeps learning things, new things all the time. Is never a really enthusiastic about anything because he keeps on looking for other things. So this is someone who goes very well with the King of Pentacles because this is someone who can take the changes, someone who is always looking for changes. And this is something that Meghan needs because she keeps jumping from one bandwagon to another bandwagon because she never stays all the way. If we see the 40 by 40, but this is just one example. She always looks for new things. So, and she needs a partner that will go with her to jump to the next bandwagon. And so she needs someone who is able to keep changing, someone who can hold that wand of fire with her because she's the Queen of Wands. So this is who she needs really. And now it's really curious that we got 3 court cards all by now. Okay, what is the current state of their relationship? And the current state of their relationship is the 9 of Wands. No, very, very difficult. The 9 of Wands, that's a card of a person that is standing and is just going through obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. This is a person that he needs everything to find out what is going wrong because something is going wrong. And right now, I believe that they are still together because this card shows someone who feels resilient, feels that he can withstand those obstacles and everything will be okay once this obstacle has passed. So I believe that this card, although they are really in bad shape, I mean, they're right now their relationship is not great, but they are still together. This is my opinion. This is first people that are willing to fix things. The people are willing that are willing to find out what is wrong and correct their wrong actions in their strive to survive as a couple. So this card shows me that they are still together, but they are suffering. They are not happy. They just are together because they need to, but because they keep on having obstacle after obstacle after obstacle, and they just think that if they just move that, after that, the last obstacle, they will stand within that obstacle, and then everything will be easier, everything will be okay. So this card shows me that, yes, they are still together, in my opinion. Okay, next card is the current state, the path that Harry would like the relationship to follow. And this card is the Knave of Pentacles. So it is curious because he sees Meghan as the King of Pentacles, but what he wants is the Knave of Pentacles. Now, it doesn't mean that he wants Meghan to be the Knave of Pentacles. This is how he wants their relationship to go. And this the Knave of Pentacles, that's the clerk. That is someone who is very good with work, someone who is orderly, someone who is organized. This is something that Harry probably feels that is lacking in their relationship. But also this is someone who is reluctant to change. And once again, because Meghan sees him as someone who has difficulty in adjusting to change, and she herself is very stiff. And Harry is also someone who is in a way stubborn and reluctant to change, but he really wants their relationship to be more ordered, to be more organized. He wants to know what tomorrow brings. He wants everything to be in this very orderly template. This is how he wants the relationship to go on. He doesn't want more mystery. He doesn't want more secrets. He doesn't want the next bandwagon. He doesn't want to jump from one bandwagon to another. He is just, the opposite of what Meghan needs. He wants the relationship to stay stable. This is a person who wants things to be organized, a person who is a coward, a person who cannot withstand jumping from one bandwagon to another. So this is how he wants the relationship to go on. And what kind of path does Meghan want the relationship to go to? And we get the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords, that is a card of planning. That is a card of strategy. For Meghan, everything is about planning. Everything is about a strategy. She has a plan in her mind. She has a strategy. This is how she wants her marriage to go further on. She is thinking about being in the right place at the right time. This is about someone who acts alone. She doesn't really think about Harry as a partner. She thinks about how she can get her. And as you can see, there is no emotion in this card. This is all about the thinking, about the strategy, about the manipulation, about the plan. She has a plan. She wants the marriage to go by the plan that she has in her mind, and that's something that she probably had even before she married Harry. She's not budging. She doesn't think that she needs to budge. She doesn't think that she needs to change anything in her plan, in her strategy, even if it means manipulating, even if it means conniving. So this is a card that shows some kind of difficulty in communication between the both of them, because she is for herself. She is thinking about acting alone, doing things by herself. So I'm not at all surprised, for example, that she took ownership on the podcasts, because at first the podcasts were supposed to be both of them, and then it became hers, because this is her plan. She's not taking Harry as a partner in her life. She's looking at him as someone who is has very big mental health issues, and she looks at him as someone she would love him to be able to join her with jumping to one bandwagon to another, but he's not part of what she's planning. So for her, it's okay for him to be at home raising the children, if there are any children, or do whatever he wants. She is going on with her plans, with her strategy. Okay, so that's what she wants from the relationship. Next card is aspects of the relationship that are that we need to consider, or that they need to consider if they are even thinking about it. And what I'm getting here is the King of Swords. Now this is amazing. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 court cards out of 9 cards altogether, and we don't have the 9th card yet, which, as I always tell you, the court cards are people who miss opportunities. There are people that have problems, and because of those problems they miss the opportunities that are given to them. And the King of Swords is a card of the appeaser, of the pacifist, of someone who cares about the relationship, someone who cares about partnership. This is who the King of Swords is. And this aspect of their relationship says that one of them is very much about thinking about the relationship, how to get through the relationship, how to make the relationship work. One of them, which is probably Prince Harry, is the appeaser. He always gives up. He always says yes. He's always the one who is not standing his ground, because he would do anything to get the equilibrium that this card is saying. So this is what this card shows us. This is one aspect that we need to take into consideration when we're looking at their relationship. The next card is the outcome of this relationship for the near future, and we get death. So this relationship is not going to a good place. Death is a change. And when we're talking about change of something that is currently a marriage, the change is divorce. Now, the death card speaks about it's time to start living. So usually it is about leaving behind things that are not working and going to start a new page in your life. This is usually a card of birth, death, about changes, about reconciling that everything must change, that life is like that life never stays the same. And this card shows us that the outcome of this marriage is that one day there will be one obstacle too much. And then after the divorce, or after they do separate, Harry will be able to start living, and so will Meghan in her way. But this card shows that they need, if we're looking at the intuition now, I'm looking at the card and not at the psychological aspect of this card, they need to kill the king and the queen of this relationship, which is the husband and the wife, in order for a new dawn to come up. So this is a curious let's say unique death card, in which we have a king and a queen that are dead, and then the cat with the mask is up. So this shows that they need to kill the relationship. They need to separate in order, and you see that the queen is here, the king is here. They are separated by death. The knife, or the, how do you call that? I forgot. I knew that. The scythe of death is separating Harry and Meghan. So, and then Harry will be able to live, to start a new life. Well, so will Meghan, but they will be able to start anew. So this, as I saw before, and I see it now, they are not separated now. They will separate it in the near future. They will separate in the near future. As I saw in my previous reading about them, they will not survive as a couple. It will end probably in the next year, but it is still in the metaphysical plane. This is a court card. This is not a suit card, so it's not close to the ground. It's still the metaphysical plane, and it's still in the idea plane. And still, right now, Harry is still appeasing Meghan, still saying yes about everything that she's saying, and they are just getting further and further apart. So this is their relationship, and I'm going to take a card from the Love Oracle cards, and wait a minute, sorry. Okay, so let's clear the deck once again. Lost the stone from this ring, but I will fix this. Okay, so let's start with Harry and Meghan's relationship right now. Harry and Meghan's relationship right now. The snake, completion, enemy, clever, malicious, look over your shoulder, the other woman. So this is not a good prospect for this relationship. Relationship is on the road for completion. They will become enemies. There probably is another woman, I don't know, and there is malicious intent, at least from one side. Okay, so this is it for this reading. I hope you like it, and if you did, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment. See you in the next one. Don't forget to share. Bye.